So, wow. So, good evening. My name is Allan Chester. Yes, I am British. And I think, first of all, I have to say, I am so sorry about Brexit. It's not my problem, okay? So, as Hannah mentioned, I'm CEO and co-founder of Any2Any. We do a little bit more than just doors and locks, but we're actually a software company. You can tell from the beard, we do software companies. We're a software solution that enables corporates to move into flexible working environments. These are things like co-working spaces, hybrid spaces. In Berlin, in London, and in New York, there's this big business. In Munich, it's slowly getting there. And that's what we do, and therefore, by moving corporates into flexible working environments, we have to deal with the nature of work and the future of work. And what better topic to finish a Thursday evening on is about work. So let's talk about future of work. Now, depending on who you talk to, the future of work means different things. For some, it means new processes, new management styles. Some people think of AI, analytics, or robotics. And these open new questions, as in, for example, what are we all going to do with our lives when the robots take over and we have nothing else to do? But the future of work is what we do know about it is that it's changing the way we do things, and that the existing constructs that we have around work and the way we do work will change. So that's one thing we do know. And it's not just something we know. Great, it works. All the corporations, more or less every single corporation you can think of, is currently thinking about moving into what they call flexible working environments. Now, you could say that's easy, just co-working spaces, but it's more than that. All the entrepreneurships, all the innovation hubs, all these ways to try and get in touch with startups and try and get that flavor of a startup, look a little bit like Google, have a fancy sofa and some beer and a kicker table. That's what they do internally. But they also try and move into flexible working environments, such as the WeWorks. And in Munich, we have obviously things like Friends Factory, in Berlin, Factory. Flexible working environments, because they feel they have to move into those spaces to attract the best talent and offer sort of opportunities for work-life balance. So when we talk to these corporates, one of the reasons they give for doing all of this is these people. So millennials, young people, it feels like this sort of time in the 1960s, this pop music that's coming through. Most of them blame millennials. I mean, and I'm sorry I don't work for Time magazine, it was just a nice picture. But most of them blame millennials, and they say, well, we have to do this to attract the best talent. Millennials are expecting different things. They're using different types of technologies. They don't want to work 9 to 5, they want a work-life balance. They are demanding completely and utterly different things of the workplace. And for us to cope with that, we need to then offer flexible, more cool, nice sofas, beer, some music, and this sort of WeWork. Has anyone been to WeWork? Yeah? Does anyone know who WeWork are? Maybe just as a short segue. WeWork are probably the largest co-working space. They're one of the top 10 brands that have grown in the last 2 years. They're massive in New York, and you're not a co-worker, you're a we-worker. And you go in there and there's loud music and there's great pictures and free beer and all those sort of things. And this is what corporates are trying to emulate. But the underlying thing, really, why the corporates are trying to do this is cash. So, as I said, the future of work, what they're looking is to go to these flexible working environments, and they want to do it because it saves them a lot of money. Think of more or less any large corporation that you know, and around 40% of their office space is empty. It's not used properly, it's using wasted space. So what they're trying to do is go to flexible working environments that offer them flexibility, 3 months Kündigungsfrist, 3 months notice period, to go to these flexible working environments because it saves them cash. So it's not just about millennials, it's about cash. And they also know that, similar to Mantra here, you've got a nice kitchen, you've got a nice bar, nice flavor. It impacts on human engagement. It gets people much more productive, and for most corporations or large companies, it means productivity and profitability. So most of these companies are looking to move into these flexible working environments in the next 2 years. So it's kind of going to be a change for the new people coming into the workforce. But most of these programs, these projects that they have, fail. And they fail, and it sort of goes to what was said earlier, they fail because in many ways they fail to understand the people they're trying to make happy. They're trying to understand and trying to build spaces maybe for what they think a millennial might need, but then they exclude the rest of the workforce, or they just are doing it just purely for cost reasons, and therefore they move into these spaces, and people are unhappy. People don't always like change. So that's where Any2Any is a little bit passionate about, is trying to understand the individual and understanding that experience is the thing that really drives this business and makes this thing a success. So I'm going to show you one of my favorite slides. This is the reverse Superman. So you all know Superman. I think that's kind of good. And you know Superman, when he wants to change, Clark Kent, when he wants to change into something special, he goes into the telephone box and rips off the uniform, and all of a sudden he has superpowers. For the majority of people, and it's not just millennials, it's a lot of people in large corporations and even smaller corporations, they have the feeling that they are the reverse Superman. Outside of the building, they're fully connected. They can do what they want, they can meet the friends that they want, they can order what they want, they have Wi-Fi, they have everything that they need to do what they want to do. They tag where they are, or they check into where the nice places that they want to eat. When they come into the building, they're Clark Kent. So I know this is really, really difficult for some people to understand, but there are companies out there that do not offer Wi-Fi, right? It's like going to work without trousers, right? It feels completely strange. But there are companies that, and I'm being deadly serious, big companies not far from here in Munich, that actually say, well, do we really need Wi-Fi? Silly question, right? So a lot of people come into these workspaces and they're Clark Kent. They're not connected. They can't access the things they want. They can't book the things they want. They can't pay for the things they want. And so you have this sort of dead feeling. You never see in a corporate sort of, Barry's checked into the conference room. Great, right? You never see anything like that. You only see that outside of the building. So if you understand about the reverse Superman, then you realize that it's actually these frictions and it's the experience of work that is a big driver for making people more flexible and to go into these spaces. So I've used this quote here. You've probably all seen it. Choose a job you love, and you'll never have to do a day of work in your life. Now, I don't know whether Confucius said that. I don't even know whether he went to this mountain or did a great thing. You can find anything on the internet. Apparently, Donald Trump is president as well. But there's the key message in that is love. Now, I know it's getting near Christmas, so it's a nice word to use. So choose a job you love. This is an emotion, right? And it's an emotion about how we engage with work and how we see work. Now, if you start using emotion language to see how you connect with your job, you'll find fairly soon, hopefully, that it's when people talk about it, they talk about it like they have a relationship. I've just spent most of the day with some very weird venture capital, and they say, oh, before you come and talk to us, it's like having a marriage. It's like having a marriage going to work. There are some relationships. And just like any other relationships, there are sometimes some frictions that go on top, and it's like a layer of dust. And sometimes that trust is misused. Hey, can you just stay another 10 minutes? Wages not being paid on time. Sometimes the language being used. A great one I like using is, please hold the line. Your call's important to us. Right? So if you start looking about love, then you start looking at relationships. And when you talk to people about their connection with jobs, it's about emotion. And like some relationships, you can sometimes walk in the bathroom and you see lots of toothpaste, and you see the toothpaste there and you go, right, that's it. I've had enough of this. I can't do this anymore. And it's nothing to do with the toothpaste. It's nothing to do with the sink. Just imagine the sink was a photocopier, and the photocopier is not working, or the VLAN's not working. All these things are not working. These are frictions that come onto that come into you, and you take them on board, and at some point you say, no, I've had enough. And you cognitively disengage from the work. It's, I'm going to use my German, innerlich kündigen. You turn around and just say, well, that's it. I've done with this. So if you start looking at the emotions that you have and start thinking the experiences you're creating, and more importantly, think of the emotions you're trying to create, then you have a whole different set of possibilities to create a great experience at work. Now, I know I'm running out of time. This is basically where Any20 is. So we concentrate, we have a digital solution that allows people to go into flexible working environments. And we do that by trying to remove the friction. So you mentioned before, things like access, check-in, all of these things. If you're moving thousands of people into co-working spaces, it's like them checking into a hotel every single day. And that can get a real pain in the neck. And at some point, they're going to look at the sink and the toothpaste and want to leave. So this is what we try and do. We try and remove the frictions in their daily lives. And then once they're there, try and help them reach the community that they want to do, to work with, to collaborate with. So that's the human part. Remove the frictions and try and change the experience. That looks terrible up there, but it is very, very good. This is what we do. This is an application that we use. And as Hannah said, we build in different types of technologies that we feel are good for someone to come into a co-working space. So once again, think of the frictions. 56 seconds. Think of those frictions. When you invite someone to your home, what's the first thing you say? Well, can I have the keys? Can I have the fridge, the Wi-Fi? You want to feel expected. You want to find the place you want to work. These are frictions that people are going to be doing en masse. They're going to be coming to these flexible working environments and saying, I just want to book a room. I just want to come in. And what we try and do is try and think of the frictions, think of the experiences they're trying to create, and try and make that experience a much better one. So, wow. And that's basically it. It's tails on essentially to what we've been talking about before, is we are social creatures. We want to meet and collaborate with people. And if we want to make this easy, we want to make this very human to allow people to choose the places they want to go and to talk to the people they want to talk to. And it's a bit like a campfire. So that's my message. It should be comfortable. And thank you.